Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important and honestly, one of the most invisible heroes of internet security, IPSec. It's the silent guardian that's working in the background, protecting our data pretty much every day. Think of it as the internet's invisible armor. So, to really get why IPSec is such a big deal, we first have to understand a fundamental problem with the internet itself. I like to call it the postcard problem. Seriously, think about it. You write a message, you slap an address and a stamp on it, and you drop it in the mail. It's super simple, right? But it has one giant, glaring security flaw. And that's pretty much exactly how the internet works by default. It sends your information in little packets of data that are, for all intents and purposes, digital postcards. Anyone along the route, and there are a lot of stops along the route, can theoretically read the message, see exactly who sent it, and know exactly where it's headed. There's just no privacy baked in from the start.
Okay, so if the internet's big problem is sending everything out like a postcard, IPsec is basically the invention of the secure, tamper-proof envelope. It's the fix for this wide-open communication problem.
So what is it really? At its heart, IPsec is a whole collection of rules and protocols that shoves security directly into the data packets themselves. Now, this is totally different from that little lock icon you see in your web browser. That's usually SSL or TLS, and it secures the connection for just that one application, like your browser. IPsec? It works at a much deeper, more fundamental level of the network, protecting the data no matter what application is sending it.
So what does this security blanket actually give you? Well, first, there's confidentiality. That's the encryption part. Your message is scrambled into unreadable nonsense for anyone snooping. Then you've got integrity. This is the no tampering guarantee, ensuring no one has messed with your data in transit. Then there's authentication, which is just a fancy way of saying it verifies the sender is who they claim to be. And finally, you have anti-replay protection, which stops an attacker from capturing your data and just resending it later. It's the whole package.
Okay, so how on earth does it actually do all of this? To get that, we need to pop the hood and take a look inside the IPsec toolkit at the core pieces that make it all tick. Well, before a single piece of secure data gets sent, the two computers on either end, they have to get on the same page. They have to agree on the rules. This agreement is called a security association, or an SA. You can just think of it as a detailed one-way contract that spells everything out, which encryption to use, how to authenticate, all of it. And since it's a one-way street, for a normal two-way conversation, you just need two of them, one going in each direction. Simple. Now this is where it gets really cool. IPSec basically has two main strategies for protecting your stuff. First, you've got transport mode. This is like taking just the message from our postcard and putting that in a locked box, but you leave the to and from addresses visible for everyone to see. Then you have tunnel mode, which is the full-on secret agent move. It takes the entire postcard, message, address, everything, and shoves it inside a brand new, totally anonymous armored envelope with a new address on the outside. This is absolutely key for things like VPNs.
So, to do this job, IPsec has two main tools in its belt, AH and ESP. The authentication header, AH, is like the tamper-evident seal on a medicine bottle. It doesn't hide what's inside, but it gives you an ironclad guarantee that no one has messed with it. ESP, on the other hand, the encapsulating security payload, that's the whole shebang. It's the locked metal briefcase. It gives you that same tamper-proof guarantee, plus it encrypts the content so nobody can see them. As you can probably guess, most modern security relies on ESP for that very reason.
Now you might be thinking, setting up all these security contracts, these SSAs, for every single connection across the internet, all the time? That sounds completely impossible. And you know what? You'd be right. There is no way you could do that manually. So how is it all automated? The answer is something called the Internet Key Exchange, or IKE. And honestly, the best way to think about IKE is as a pair of little robotic diplomats. Each computer sends one out, and their entire job is to meet in the middle and securely negotiate all the terms of that security association, all without anyone being able to listen in on their conversation. And these diplomats have a very clever two-step process. In phase 1, before they even start talking about your data, their first job is to build a secure, encrypted channel just for themselves to talk through. It's like building a secret, soundproof room so they can negotiate in total privacy. Then, in phase 2, once they're inside that secure room, they can safely hammer out all the details for as many SAs, as many contracts, as your actual data is going to need. It's incredibly efficient and secure. Okay, theory is great, but let's talk about where this stuff actually lives, out in the wild. Because I can almost guarantee you've used IPsec, probably without even knowing it.
But first, we have to talk about a major real-world roadblock.
See, the vast majority of us connect to the internet from behind a home or office router, and those routers use a technology called Network Address Translation, or NAT. And, well, NAT creates a huge problem for IPsec.
Here's the conflict. The whole point of NAT is to rewrite the IP address in a packet's header. It's constantly changing the from address. But remember our friend AH, the authentication header? Its entire job is to create a digital signature that guarantees nothing in that header, including the address, has been changed one bit. So the second NAT does its job and changes the address, AH sees it as tampering, freaks out, and kills the connection. They are fundamentally at odds with each other. So how do we fix this? With a really clever hack called NAT traversal, or NAT-T. First, the two devices use IKEY to detect, hey, is there a NAT sitting between us? If the answer is yes, they do something brilliant. They take the entire fully formed IPsec packet and they wrap it up inside a different kind of packet, a standard UDP packet. It's kind of like putting our armored envelope inside a plain old cardboard box that NAT knows exactly how to handle without messing with it. This lets a secure packet sail right on through.
Okay, so we've got secure envelopes, tunnel modes, robot diplomats, and clever workarounds for home routers. Where does all of this incredible, complicated engineering actually get used every single day?
The #1 application by far is in virtual private networks. Yep, that corporate or personal VPN you use to work from home or secure your connection at a coffee shop, it is very, very likely running on IPsec.
And this is where it all clicks into place, right? When you fire up your VPN, your computer and the server on the other end are using IKEY to do that automated handshake. They are almost certainly using tunnel mode to wrap up all of your internet traffic. And they're using ESP to encrypt it and make sure it's authentic. They are literally creating that secure, private tunnel for your data to travel safely across the totally open, public internet. So yeah, every single time you click connect on your VPN, you're placing your trust in this incredible, complex system. You're trusting IPsec to act as your invisible, armored envelope and get your data where it needs to go, safely and securely.
But that word, complex, is really key here. As we've seen, IPsec is a marvel of security engineering, but all that power comes from its complexity. And in the world of security, complexity is often the enemy of safety. It just creates more places for things to go wrong. So it leaves us with a really interesting question for the future. As our need for privacy grows, do we keep building on top of these brilliant but incredibly complex systems? Or will we find a new, simpler way to build security into the fabric of the internet from the ground up? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.